Welcome to AR Tips and Tricks for Accounting Departments Serving Small Businesses, a roundtable panel discussion brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council, and before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. This webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions, so please answer each poll. And if not CPE, please answer benchmark your peers. Also for CPE, you must attend for at least 50 minutes and answer a quick survey at the end of the presentation. Next, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask our experts questions. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours. So no need for notes or screenshots. With that, I'm pleased to share a word about our partner and sponsor. BILL is the intelligent finance platform trusted by nearly 500,000 businesses and their accountants to manage, move, and maximize money. BILL powers businesses ranging from fast-moving startups to growing companies with complex operations. We use AI to deliver strategic finance capabilities on one integrated platform that includes AP, AR, expenses, forecasting, procurement, and more. With a member network of more than 8 million, BILL's platform processes approximately 1% of US GDP annually. That's a real big number. Headquartered in San Jose, California, BILL is a trusted partner of leading US financial institutions, accounting firms, and software providers. For more information, visit bill.com. And I'm very pleased to introduce our expert panelists, Philip Peck, Dominique, and Hugh Glazer. Philip Peck is VP of Finance Transformation at Peloton Consulting Group for more than 16 years. Prior roles included VP Finance Practice at Palladium Consulting and client-side roles including controllerships at OSE USA, Ameritech, and R.R. Donnelley. Philip earned an MBA from Northwestern University and a BS Industrial Management from Purdue University. Dominique is CFO, COO at Battles Transportation and RHG Group. Prior roles included Managing Director at Innovative Medical Transport and AVP at Merrill Lynch. He's a founding board member of Imagine Freedom Schools with 54 public charter campuses and a member of the National Association of Black Accountants, one of our partners, and is a frequent guest speaker for multiple business forums. Thomas earned a Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance and an MBA from Howard University and a PhD Business Administration from Claremont Graduate University. And Hugh Glazer is CFO and consultant at Winterview Group, providing fractional CFO services to small businesses, including architectural, engineering, and construction firms, publishing and advertising. And he's an active podcaster on accounting topics. He's a board advisor for Applewood Books and the Specialty Transportation and Regulatory Services, STARS. You earned a BS Accounting and Communications from Babson College, where he is a lead business advisor, coach, and mentor for the Babson College Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. Philip, Thomas, and Dominique, Thomas and Hugh, welcome today, and very happy to have you. So let's get right to it. Tell us a little bit about your company and your accounting and finance departments where applicable. Philip, why don't you start us off here?
Thank you. And want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. Really looking forward to the topic. And we have 3 fantastic panelists here, including myself. So looking forward to diving in. So who is Peloton Consulting Group? We help organizations drive AI-enabled digital transformation across the entire enterprise. We provide advisory, consulting, and managed services capabilities across EPM, enterprise performance management, enterprise resource management, ERP, supply chain management, human capital management, customer experience analytics, and data management all around the cloud. We're a global organization with over 850 associates across North America, Latin America, and Asia Pac. In terms of industry expertise, we span the full gamut, but heavily focus around retail, CPG, manufacturing, financial services, professional services, high tech, and wholesale distribution. As part of what we do, we provide advisory services, technical expertise, and across our industry teams, we bring both functional and technical best practices, including demonstrated experience and expertise leveraging AI capabilities. We actually have a dedicated AI strategy practice that helps customers unlock value in their investments, providing next generation AI frameworks to accelerate transformation and a wide array of AI-centric capabilities. Me personally, I've spent 35 plus years, broadly speaking, in FP&A, finance, and controllership domain areas, always with an eye towards process improvement, enabling tools and technology and data with a perspective on the art of the possible. Quickly around our finance and accounting departments, we heavily leverage the Oracle Fusion ERP platform. GL, AR, AP, project accounting, T&E is really the foundation for everything finance and accounting related. That said, we do leverage native Oracle ERP AI capabilities as well as augment that with other technology solutions as well as internally developed AI solutions.
Wow. And I think that's why Philip has been on several of our AI panels as well. So thank you, Philip. Thomas, please tell us a bit about you and your company.
Thomas Dominique here, CFO COO at Battles Transportation and RHG Group. We are a Washington, D.C. based ground passenger transportation company, which essentially means that we move people from point A to point B in a lot of variety of ways, whether it be non-emergency medical transportation, charter services, conference management, school bus services, charter services, and we are primarily a government contractor. We do federal government contracting, but we also do it at the state and local level, and we partner with corporations and individuals. In addition to being based in DC, we also have operations in Philadelphia, so we're a regional carrier, but we're primarily concentrated in DC. The company's been around for, this is our 50th year, so a lot of longevity there. We've definitely been through a lot of different cycles when it comes to AR management. And so essentially what we've done is we structured our accounting and finance team around the variations in government contracting. So I would say for the most part, we are very slimly staffed. We use QuickBooks, but we use it across our entire company with the accounting and finance, but we also have HR and payroll integrated as well too. We do most of our bookkeeping in-house, but we do outsource our month-end close to GDC consultants out of Atlanta, and then we work with our CPAs, throughout the year to make sure that we're reconciling and preparing for tax season and capturing all of the financial transactions. Myself, I've been with the company for 13 years, primarily in the CFO role before transitioning to becoming CFO and COO. And prior to this, I had an independent consulting firm in healthcare transportation. And I also worked in corporate banking, where I worked with government contractors, aerospace and defense, and government services, financing, their businesses and various growth strategies.
Nice. Thank you for that. And Hugh, tell us about yourself.
And thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you, Neil. I think Neil, in the introduction, did a pretty good overview of my background. Winterview Group is, at its core, what we used to call part-time, but now fractional CFO, COO business advisory program, where we focus on helping companies do a better job with their business and finance operation, making sure that all the reporting and procedures are very much in line with the company's objectives. And while my background from an industry point of view is pretty broad, particularly through my work for the 10,000 Small Businesses program, one of my themes is I've always worked with creative people doing creative things that ranges from publishing, software development, advertising, as Neil said, the primary focus area of my practice these days tends to be architectural firms, and with folks that have got different kinds of ERP systems that are catered toward project-centric businesses. And I think as I've been increasing my AI journey this summer, I think we're going to find that while AI in some levels is kind of scary, depending on what system you use, and you may already be doing AI-like things if you have dashboards and widgets and whatnot without even being aware of it. And I'm very strong in terms of in the AR area because I'm a big advocate of people having strong control and understanding of their cash flow. And that's, receivables is the big driver of cash, and making sure you've got your, you understand your cash flow break even. So this is a topic and a subject area I've been working with clients on fine tuning for a number of years.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for that. And with that, we will move on to our first poll. So let me launch that. And that is, to what extent is your accounting and finance department, where are they at with software automation and AI? So take a few moments and tell us where you're at with automation AI. And all answers are anonymous and confidential. So, a few more seconds, please. All right. Well, let's end this poll and share the results. Top, we are a combination of manual and automated workflows for 42%, followed by we mostly use manual processes for 35%. Starting to evaluate and implement software 14%, and completely automated with minimal manual processes for only 3%. So this will lead into our panel questions. So we'll reference that. But yeah, very small percentage of using a lot of automation. So let's get to that panel question then. To what extent are your accounting and finance department or your typical clients using software automation and AI? So Hugh, let's start with you on this one.
Sure. Well, everyone that I work with, the office is using software, or I think anybody would have a minimum software to keep track of what the accounts receivable is, and as well as the cash receipts. Most of the firms that I work with, I do not use QuickBooks. Just as a frame of reference, they're using project-centric ERP systems, and in the leading ones, what we've done is created like a dashboard widget, which is essentially an AI exercise that has a whole range of data about what's happening with the receivables and the follow-up. So I could keep going, but the answer is yes. There's tools to alert what should be followed up on, what happened, last action, next action, who did it, when to do it next. So, and I'm not surprised actually, Neil, that answer of a combination scored so high, because I think generally at the end of the day, this is something that can't be 100 or shouldn't be 100% automated without some, human review.
Yeah, agree with that. And Thomas, how about yourself?
I'm not surprised by the results. I mean, to Hugh's point, it is, you're trying to automate as much as possible. But I would say for us, like, when we say we have federal clients, they assume that all government agencies, you invoice in the same way. So we use about 10 different platforms to submit invoices. And then we have to capture that information in QuickBooks so we can track the invoices. So it's not as if QuickBooks is developing the invoices. We have to use these third-party systems that the government mandates. So with so many different platforms, you're trying your best to take information from one data set. You want to make sure you get it in QuickBooks so your team knows, so you can run the numbers and you can do the analysis, you can produce your year-end statements. But there can be a disconnect between even what you're submitting and what is getting captured in QuickBooks. So, we try to automate as much as possible, but given the client type that we have, it does involve a manual process. I mean, we have one platform where not only do you have to submit an invoice in the system, but you also have to attach a separate invoice to the invoice. And so it's a duplication. So if one invoice has incorrect information for the government, they will reject the whole thing. If it's kind of like, a cent off, or you say invoice number 166 and the attachment says 166R because we had to do a revision before we submitted it. So we put it in QuickBooks as 166R. So with all of those platforms, unless the agencies that we work with, unless they open their systems up to AI and allow integration with QuickBooks. So we do have some platforms that allow more seamless integration, but a lot of our platforms are kind of a black box where you go in, separate username, logins, the whole nine, and we just have to make sure we're capturing that information. And don't even ask what happens if an invoice is late and you have to go to the government and say, you owe me a late payment. It takes an act of Congress to get a late payment paid from the government.
And you're right in the thick of it there in Washington, D.C.
I am in the thick of it.
Now, Philip, I know Peloton Group works with some enterprise corporations. Maybe you could couch your answer on this with maybe some of the smaller companies you work with and how they're doing with automation and AI.
Sure. And thank you, Neil. And Thomas, I love the statement, attach an invoice to an invoice. I'm going to remember that one. The other thought that came to mind when you're speaking, Thomas, one size does not fit all. Like, especially in your ecosystem of which you live, at which you're describing, all the different systems you have to interact with, the different formats, the different definitions. I think that's a pervasive theme. And I know, Neil, we're going to get to some of those follow-up questions, but it does, or I will speak to it here briefly, what we're seeing specifically on the smaller and mid-sized organizations that we've worked with. I think they're increasingly looking for not just automation opportunities, but where can they look for, from a use case perspective, opportunities to infuse some level of AI capabilities. Just as Hugh said, a widget or whatever, things that we're doing today, AI is a somewhat ubiquitous in broad term. There's many flavors, there's a number of ways to do it, but I think increasingly the SMB organizations are looking to do that. Some of the areas I think that we've found ripe for opportunities, and I'll speak to it in more of an end-to-end process perspective. Think about the record to report, the accounting close and the financial reporting. Processing of journal entries tends to be heavily manual, takes a lot of time. So where can you automate recurring journal entries? Some of the emerging thoughts is how do you classify certain things and leveraging AI to do that, and maybe some policy-based approval workflows. Something like account recs, there's always lots of account recs in any organizations, but especially SMB. Where can you auto match? Where can you use some kind of exception-based reconciliation? Where can you use some AI capabilities to look at unusual balances? There's certainly some other areas like intercompany accounting and financial consolidation where we've seen the automation and now the infusion of AI. On the procure to pay side, more the AP side, a lot around invoice processing and using some combination of classic OCR, optical character recognition, plus some emerging ML automated three-way matching, some of these principles that have been around, but now infusing them more and leveraging them more. Vendor management, compliance checks, payment term optimization, some other areas there in the procure to pay space as well. I'll save the AR specific ones, but suffice to say there's a number of them for the follow-on question, Neil. And then something very, very near and dear to my personal heart is in the area of FP&A, financial planning and analysis. So even in the SMB realm here, how can you improve your budgeting and forecasting capabilities, leveraging some of the emerging AI capabilities, be it predictive, be it driver-based forecasting, be it time series modeling. On the variance analysis and then the reporting side, be it management reporting, be it financial reporting, be it operational reporting, now the ability to accelerate to the answer and leverage some of these AI-infused capabilities to get you to the where should I be spending my time and effort versus all the drudgery and the lower value-added work just to get to the ability to go, oh, I need to investigate this, leverage those AI-infused capabilities to accelerate getting to the point of this is where I need to spend my time and effort, or a team's time and effort, such that we do the analysis, understand the dynamics, and then hopefully take action against it.